I'll be your primary instructor for your next period of instruction, which is on danger areas. Hopefully everybody's nice and coffeeed up because we have a long period of instruction. What's the good thing about LDAs is that it all builds off of each other. Excuse me, danger areas. You have 3 types of danger areas which we'll discuss. But the first thing I want you to understand is the importance of understanding how to, 1, avoid danger areas, and 2, how to react to them when you do encounter them, because sometimes you have to encounter them. To help motivate us to understand the importance of avoiding and crossing a danger area correctly, we're going to turn to my favorite soldier, or at least the soldier I have most in common with, which is Forrest Gump. So, some of you might recall the Forrest Gump battle scene. Just go ahead and follow along.
Hey, sorry, can we hit the light?
Sure you can, if I can figure it out. So they're on the edge of a danger area, a rice paddy. Part of their platoon is caught in the open. The point element got caught in the open. So they're establishing a base of fire. Lieutenant Dan, while he still has legs, is calling in close air support. Gump's doing the best he can. Trying to figure it out. All right, the VC have already called in. They have a pre-planned target on that danger area. All right. Lieutenant Dan has lost control of his element. He is no longer able to control, to break contact effectively, or to launch into a squad attack as you have learned previously. So, he executes rally point procedures. He calls for a rally point to fall back, and the men break into buddy teams. Of course, nobody's able to catch up with Gump. And they move away, they escape and evade, and they're going to move to the rally point, which, again, if you remember, is next to the river. And he runs and he runs and he runs. All right, and that's good enough. And he runs and he runs and runs. We all remember the end of that story. Okay, of course he gets Congressional Medal of Honor for bringing everybody back and stuff like that. But whether you knew it or not, we all love Forrest Gump. And if you don't, X is right there. But Forrest Gump actually perfectly shows, in a small way, what not to do in a danger area and what to do in a danger area. What I really want you to pay attention to, and the most important thing that I would like to emphasize, is 1, your planning considerations involving a danger area, and 2, the rehearsal of your actions, so your actions on danger areas are smooth. They're danger areas. Obviously, something in that title should tell you I should pay attention to that, right?
Hey, Sergeant Hank, what do you want, LDA first or open danger?
Let's do soda loaded.
Okay.
So this is fine.
All right.
Now let me figure this out. Is that good for y'all or is that bad for y'all?
Other way.
Other way? Option 2. All right, we're going back to that. Keep yourself awake. Stand up on the side. There's no problem, there's no shame in standing up on the side. There's only problems for guys who don't want to learn the material. What I'd ask is that you simply hold your questions until the end of our 3 main areas, which is small open danger area, large open danger area, and a linear danger area. All right. Now, you're saying to me, all right, I understand a small open danger area, a large open danger area, and I might have some concept of an LDA. But I'm asking you, what's the difference between a small open danger area, a large open danger area, and an LDA? Who can tell me what an example of a small open danger area? Ranger Castro. Go stand up, tell us. What's a small open danger area? How big is a small open danger area?
35 meters. Or...
Okay, he says 35 meters. Hey, that's fun, man. All right. Who can give me an example of a large open danger area? Ranger Spies. Spies.
20 meters, Sergeant.
He's saying 200 meters. Okay, that's fine. That's what he's thinking. Who can give me an example of a linear danger area other than a road? Let me get somebody from 6 Squad. Go ahead. Other than a road.
Train tracks?
Train tracks, perfect. All right. Also, what I want you to understand, the difference between these 3 types of danger areas, right, the difference between a small open danger area and a large open danger area is simply a matter of time. Do you have enough time to move around the danger area, or do you not have enough time and you're going to have to bound across, in the example of a large open danger area? How many of you are airborne qualified? All right, so some of you are acquainted with Fryer Drop Zone. For those of you that are not acquainted with Fryer Drop Zone, Fryer Drop Zone is a massive drop zone, 3,000 meters by 3,000 meters. Right? If our unit had time to detour around a field the size of Fryer Drop Zone, we just had the time, we had all day, we would consider something the size of Fryer Drop Zone a small open danger area. However, if we did not have time, then we would consider it a large open danger area, and we would bound across, which is the next thing I'm going to teach you. Okay? Right now, let's focus on small open danger areas. Right. Ultimately, whether the danger area that you encounter is small, large, or linear danger area, or linear, your initial actions are the same. Okay? But before we begin, let me go ahead and familiarize you with this board. Okay, first of all, you can reference material, page 6.9. All right, here we have the near side rally point. We have our open danger area. And 300 meters on azimuth, we have far side rally point. Of particular interest, we have this identifiable feature on the far side. An identifiable feature could be anything like a tree, a big rock, anything that's on your initial mission azimuth that you can identify from the near side, and you see it on the far side, you're like, yep, we're headed towards that. You also have administrative notes that will help you follow this period of instruction. Okay, here are initial actions. Here are actions for when we use the contour method, and here's for the detour bypass method. Don't worry if it's a little bit fuzzy. I'll explain them all. So, the first thing, let's say you're the Alpha team leader. But what's the very first thing you're going to do when you see a danger area? Okay, what hand and arm signal are we going to use, guys? Halt? How about a halt? Let's just stop our guys first, huh? Okay, what's this? Freeze. What's this? What are your actions at a halt? Ranger glasses and Ranger Seattle guy. You're clearly yeah, at a halt.
Just to stop, take a knee.
Stop, take a knee. Okay, that's good. That's absolutely right. All right, your squad should halt, take a knee behind available cover and concealment, and get into the short halt posture. Which is on the knee, weapon at the ready, facing out. So very good. Right? Which is as opposed to freeze, where you literally freeze. So the ATL is going to halt the squad. Okay? That's assuming that he sees it first. So that's the first thing he's going to do. Right? The squad is going to pull out, get into their 360. Right? They're not going to move a long ways away, but they will turn out, find available cover, and concealment, and get to the short halt posture. The squad leader is going to look around, and he's going to spot check and ensure that the squad is in the short halt posture. Then the squad leader, after spot checking, is going to move forward to the Alpha team leader, right? And he's going to ask, "What's up?" Right? What are we looking at? Right. That's if the Alpha team leader hasn't already given a hand and arm signal for a danger area. We got a lot of educated guys. You guys are all real smart. What's the hand and arm signal for a danger area, whether linear or otherwise? Right here. Taking your non-firing hand, crossing it across your chest. Hey, I'm seeing a danger area. So if you're the Alpha team leader and you see a danger area, just go ahead and give a halt. I see a danger area. Okay. Squad leader comes up to the Alpha team leader. Hey, what we got? Hey, I see a danger area. Okay, roger that. All right. Once you've done that, you know that you're in a potential danger area. You know that this is dangerous. Right? So next thing the squad's going to do is you're going to conduct SEALs. All right? Give me what does SEALs stand for? Ranger lower. Give me one. Give the first S in SEALs. Somebody help me out, Ranger Solon. First S. Stop. All right, what's the L? Look. Together? Listen. And finally? Smell. Good. We're trying to detect signs of the enemy. All right? We're trying to detect signs of the enemy in this danger area. If we know that we like to ambush guys in danger areas, and we do, let me tell you, it's a blast. All right? Then we know that the enemy also likes to ambush us in danger areas. So we're attempting to identify the enemy first. All right? So he gives a hand and arm signal for SEALs. Let's all see it. Let's all do it together. Non-firing hand, cut behind the corresponding ear. SEALs during good visibility. All right? We wait 3 to 5 minutes, or as long as we deem necessary. Squad leader gives a hand and arm signal to terminate SEALs. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's build on our foundation. All right, non-firing hand, making a slashing arrow over our corresponding ear. Good, guys. Hey, obviously you put in a lot of effort into your food class and memory. I appreciate that very much. All right, so we've conducted SEALs. Next thing that needs to happen is the squad leader and the alpha team leader, they're going to move forward and they're going to make some assessments of that danger area. We're going to make some assessments, see what we have. All right. First of all, they're going to look at this. They're going to look at this, and they're going to attempt to understand: is this a danger area that we knew about, or is this an unknown danger area that we plan to avoid, and we got off, or is this something that wasn't on the map? Okay, because maybe you're off route and you plan to avoid this open danger area, and suddenly it's there, or is this something that just wasn't on the map? We have good navigation, which it wasn't on the map. We couldn't have done anything about it. So that's one of the things that you're going to want to understand about it. All right? Also, what this is going to do, by doing this recon, the squad leader and the ops team leader doing this recon, is that it's going to give that squad leader a basic familiarity with that area. So that way, if something bad happens in the vicinity of this open danger area, he's able to make the best tactical decision. He comes up there and he knows that there's good cover and concealment on the left-hand side. He understands that there's high ground on the right. He's just getting a feel for everything. Yeah. So the squad leader and alpha team leader are making their assessment. All right. And at this point, in this class, our squad leader has determined that this is a danger area, an open danger area, that we have enough time to go around it. So at this point, he's faced with a decision. The squad leader is faced with a decision. Should I use the contour method or the detour bypass method? Okay. Now, these two methods. One of them is going to sound really, really great and make a lot of sense. And one of them is going to sound like something that some virgin came up with, like some guy who really likes math. And the answer is, that's exactly what it is. Now, for the contour method is nothing more than estimating the distance from the near side to the far side and adding it to your original pace count. So let's imagine that we've moved 1,500 meters on our original azimuth. The distance across our open danger area is 500 meters. Okay, then what's the distance at that far side identifiable feature? 2,000. It doesn't matter how long it takes you. You don't add this pace count of you trampling along in the wood line. You don't add that. You simply take your original pace count, and then you estimate the distance, you move around, and then at the end, you add whatever that estimated distance was across the LDN. Does that sound fairly simple?
Yes.
Does that sound fairly foolproof?
No.
Well, I mean, there's things that we can do to make it. This is the preferred method. One, it allows you to use cover and concealment. Two, it's easier. Right? Those are the biggest two. It's easier and allows you to use cover and concealment better. But there are some reasons why you can't use the contour bypass method. Right? If you can't identify a feature on that far side to move to, say it's during periods of limited visibility, then you can't You can't estimate. Maybe this distance is too great, and you can't see the far side of it. In that case, yeah, you're going to have to use the detour bypass method, which I'm going to go over. Okay? Ultimately, this is the year 2016. All right? What do we all have available on our for navigation on mission?
GPS.
We have a GPS. All right? Let's stop pretending like we're in Vietnam. Let's play this sort of like the real way. Utilize the contour bypass method. Utilize your GPS to make sure that you're back on. Use this as a backup, that identifiable feature, and you'll be fine. All right, pause here. This is the most important part of the class. Does anybody have any questions on using the contour bypass method to move around a small open danger area? What's up, Ranger? Second row.
By chance, would you want to keep an eye on the danger areas so you can actually contour it more precisely?
No. Once the squad leader and alpha team leader get eyes on, they're going to return to their squad. All right. Squad leader is going to put out the information to the alpha team leader, the Bravo team leader, and he's simply going to tell the alpha team leader, "Hey, move around using the contour bypass method." The alpha team leader has the compassman slash paceman, so he'd disseminate that information to the compassman slash paceman and let him know, "Hey, don't add your pace count moving around using the contour method. I will simply give you the distance to add at the end." Did I answer your question, Ray?
Yes.
All right. What else do we have on the contour bypass method? Yes, here's your Seattle.
Is there a prescribed distance, how far out?
There's not a prescribed distance how far out,
Just meant
as
to
long as you have an identifiable feature that you can estimate distance towards. Okay? Let's talk about ways that you can estimate distance. All right? We all talk about our GPS. That's a good way. I see some of you guys have weapons. Do you have ACOGs on those weapons?
Correct.
All right, yeah. So we all know that those I just lasered myself in the eye. All right, we all know that those triangles match the width of a man's shoulders, right?
Yeah.
So if the width of a man's shoulder is roughly the width of a tree-ish, then you're good. We can always use football fields. How many of you guys played football in school? Not so much. Okay, if this was Texas National Guard, all your hands would be up. All right, but you can use football fields. You know, another method that you can use to estimate distances is you take the total distance, you roughly cut it in half, and then you estimate that distance. That's a better way of coming up with good estimation of distance. So those are some good methods that you can use. There's also a slew of AN, PBS, this, AN, PQ, that will allow you to do that kind of stuff. As technology changes, it'll be a different name, but you can estimate distances using all of your fancy technology. So. All right, so that's the contour bypass method. That is the preferred method. One note, as you're using the contour bypass method, the alpha team leader is obviously going to take us forward. Alpha team, headquarters, Bravo team. All right. If the alpha team leader is there in the middle, he's at the apex of the formation. In this case, he still has guys off to his right flank, right? Correct?
Yes.
All right. What I see very frequently when I walk patrols over at Fort Benning is the alpha team leader, he's keeping himself in the woods. He's 25 meters into the wood line. He's keeping himself in, so he thinks he's good. Meanwhile, he has men off to the far right-hand side who are still walking in the open danger area. All right? So, if you find yourself walking in the open danger area because that's where your position is, in your formation order of movement, flex yourself into the wood line. Do what makes common sense. Don't be like, no, I'm right here in the right flank, so I stand right here. Meanwhile, you're walking in a fucking rice paddy. Does that make sense, guys?
No.
I'm sorry. Guys, give me a little feedback. Give me a little north, south, or east, west. Huh? North, south, east, west.
Roger, sir.
Can I get some Rogers? Yep. All right. If there's no more questions on the contour bypass method, then I'll explain the detour bypass method. All right. The detour bypass method is the least preferred method. It is nothing more than a series of 90-degree turns. The squad leader and team leader will determine that they will use the detour bypass method if there is no identifiable feature on the far side, they can't see the far side because it's either too far or during periods of limited visibility, or generally, you just want to keep control of the situation. So, the first steps are the same. Alpha team leader halts, gives LDA, squad leader moves forward, confirms it, says, hey, I can't see the far side. Okay? Seals, terminates seals, puts out that we're going to use the detour bypass method. Is everyone able to see in the Ranger handbooks or on the side the series of 90-degree turns? Okay? It uses simple math. You're here at 1,500 meters. Let's say we made a 600-meter movement to the right. Okay? Then you made your 500-meter movement again to the north. How many meters would you move back to the left? 600 meters. You guys, if this was Texas National Guard, some guy would have answered 200 or something. Right? So good on you. All right, we come back 600 meters. They get us back and form in this box. And then we simply add the 500 meters to our initial pace count of 1,500 meters to come up with 2,000 meters. You basically 600 out, 600 back, or whatever of course the distance is. Okay, there's no prescribed distance. Use whatever is necessary to get you around the open danger area. Right add, left subtract. Now, assuming that this is 0 degrees, you're headed straight north, it's pretty easy. We're headed at 0 degrees, we turn right to 90 degrees, then we subtract 90 degrees, we head back to 0, and then we turn left, and now we're headed at 270. Now start involving real numbers. We're coming in at 164 degrees, then we add 90, then we subtract 90, then we subtract another 90, then we add another 90. And you're like, fuck, it's 7. I don't know. What's the cosine? Cosine of the hypotenuse or something like that. All right? It requires a lot of math. It's simple math, but when you're on your feet for 2 days and you've been patrolling, all right, it gets pretty hard. Or if you're Hank, it's just hard as is. So, obviously, again, which method is the preferred method? Contour or detour? Contour. So that's what we're going to attempt to use when we go out into the field. All right. Does everyone understand the difference between the contour and the detour bypass method? And everyone understands the contour bypass method is preferred. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you. Does anybody have any questions over the detour bypass method? Yep. All right. So which one of these methods do you think was developed by like a virgin, like the 40-year-old virgin? The detour bypass method, Raj. Okay. All right, if we have no more questions on this, then we're going to move over to a large open danger area. Can you go ahead to the next slide, please? Next slide back there is popping up. Wonderful. All right, now for our large open danger area. First, let me familiarize you. All right? Here's our large open danger area. Again, we have a near side rally point, a far side rally point. All right? And we have administrative notes that will help us follow this period of instruction. The lead fire team is displayed in blue, the headquarters element is displayed in yellow, and the trail fire team is displayed in green. The perceived, what we believe, the templated direction of enemy contact is to the right. Okay? These bounds right here, this indicates bounds, these arrows, they indicate successive bounds. What we're going to talk about is successive and alternating bounds. What's important about the large open danger area and how we're going to cross it, right, is one, of course, how to cross a large open danger area, but also this is how you use bounding overwatch. Bounding overwatch is the movement technique that you will utilize if you believe contact with the enemy is likely. Okay? You don't just walk up in a wedge, like, yep, we're here for the party. Right? You bound each other. So in a lot of ways, this is a more important class than simply crossing a fucking drop zone. So, our initial actions are the same, right? Who can tell me the first actions? One ranger from Sun Squad. Squad leader from Sun Squad. What's our initial action of the Alpha team leader?
Call the halt.
Call the halt. Awesome. All right, he calls the halt. Gives a hand and arm signal for a linear and danger area. Everyone go ahead and do it with me. Right, so the whole squad understands, assuming that it's the linear danger, that it's any kind of danger area. This is not just LDA, this is all danger areas. Just typically what you see is LDA, so kind of got bastardized. Gives the LDA, gives the danger area. Squad leader moves forward, right? It asks, what do we have? Well, I just told you, we have a danger area. Okay, Roger. Anyone tell me what the next step is? Seals. Very, I'm getting some good hands. Good effort, Ray. All right, so everyone do seals for me? What's the first S stand for?
Stop.
L.
Look.
Second L.
Listen.
Last? Smell. What's one kind of smell that we might be smelling for? Give me that PFC and the, yeah, you got it. What can you smell, man?
Possible like campfire or something.
Campfires, yeah? What is the rest of, like, in America, what do we cook on? Stoves, right? Ovens and shit? Microwave ovens? Or you just don't cook it like me? Yeah? Okay. But what does the rest of the world cook on? Fires, open fires, wood fires. Right? Who here's been to deer camp or something like that? Yeah, who here's a camper? How far can you smell wood fires from? A long walk away. Oh, that smells good. I don't even know what that is, but I want it. Right? What about petroleum products like exhaust of an engine? You can detect that from a far away. What might we be listening for? We give somebody from Fourth Squad. Lowest rank command from Fourth Squad. What are we listening for? Let's go.
Any chatter, if any, you can hear anyone talking?
Okay. Again, going back to deer camp and stuff like that, what do deer camps usually have? If you want electricity, what do you need to bring out to the
Power generator.
How far can you hear a generator from? Fuck ever. Who here's been to Afghanistan? Yeah? How many times have you heard a generator from a far distance away? Yeah? All the time. So those are the sorts of things that you should be listening for. Not just, can I hear the enemy actually talking or moving? Right? So we conduct our seals, we terminate seals, and again, the squad leader and alpha team leader move forward. Right? The squad leader makes his assessments. In this case, he sees a vast distance. He looks at his watch. He says, no, I don't have time for this. How many times have you said the same thing with your woman? I don't have fucking time for this. Okay? So you decide that you're going to do something a little rash. I know that happens to me like every week. Right? So, the squad leader has decided that we are going to move across this large open danger area using successive or alternating bounds. Successive or alternating bounds. What I want you to understand, successive and alternating bounds, it's scary language, it's military jargon, stuff like that. Successive bounds are nothing more than having one element move up, like say Alpha team move up, and Bravo team just catches up. Alpha team moves up again, the Bravo team just catches up. Alpha, boom, okay? One element sets the limit of the bound, and the other element just catches up. Alpha leads out every single time. Alpha, boom, catches up. Okay? Alternating bounds is nothing more than playing leapfrog. Alpha, Bravo, Alpha, Bravo, Alpha, Bravo. Now, there are pros and cons to each method. For successive bounds, you can control the distance. Of the bound. So if you're if you don't trust the guy in the other element, you don't think that he's maybe up to snuff, you might use successive bounds. Or if there's terrain that's hard to give an identifiable feature, like instead of saying, like, hey, bound forward 150 meters, you tell them to go bound to that hill. If you don't have good terrain like that, then you might use successive bounds. It's easier to control. But as a con, it is very slow. It is slower. If you use alternating bounds, you're giving up control, but you are going faster. You will bound across your open space faster. Does that make sense? All right. So which method of bounding is leapfrog? Alternating. Very good, guys. Alright, so those are the two methods that you're going to use. Regardless of whether, alright, the next thing he's going to check for, squad leader is going to attempt to find a route across that LDA. He's going to try to find bounding positions. He's going to attempt to find micro terrain that he can utilize to move across that LDA as safely as possible. Okay? Things like, who here's been in Afghanistan again? All right, so we got a few. All right, what kind of, they don't have a lot of streams over there, do they? Well, what do they have?
Wadis.
They have wadis, exactly, dried up riverbeds and stuff like that. You could, I mean, just because it's an open area, doesn't mean you couldn't advance your men, hey, bound out to that wadi. Set up a position there, and I will move. Does that make sense? All right. Also, for those guys who have been in Afghanistan, all right, if you're in an irrigated area, all right, they still use open air canals. Okay. I'll take you all back to 2009. I was a team leader in the 82nd. We had to move across a 500-meter open area under fire. First of all, are you fucking kidding me? All right, but you have to do what you have to do. Right? I was able to lead my platoon over 500 meters of open area under fire without any man getting hit because I utilized canals to take us up to the enemy compounds. Right? So attempt to utilize, that's a little bit of micro terrain. Small things that you wouldn't see on a map. Okay? You're also looking for bounding positions, overwatch positions. These are positions that are going to allow your overwatch element to overwatch your bounding element. Too easy, right? Overall, doesn't matter whether you use alternating or successive bounds. That's your call as a squad leader. Do you want to have more control, or do you want to move across quicker? Doesn't matter. The keys to success is that you have the squad leader and the 240 Bravo attached to the initial overwatch element. Okay? Squad leader, so that way he can direct the bound, right, and he can direct the fires. 240 Bravos, so that way they're not moving forward with the 240, having to hump it over their shoulder and stuff like that. So, your squad leader and your 240 Bravo would be with that initial overwatch element, having the trail fire team bound across. Okay? The other key to success is that your bounds need to be shorter than you might expect. What's the furthest that you have to qualify with your M4? 300 meters. Okay? Your bounds, your max bounds, should be no further than 150 meters. Right? Reason being is you're trying, although you can shoot out to 300 meters, if your other element bounds out 300 meters, can you really engage anything in front of them? Not really. But if they only move 150 meters, then you can still have kind of a protective blanket for 150 meters in front of those men. So what's the max that you're going to bound yourself? 150 meters. Okay. Now you guys are strikers, right? You guys are going to be strikers? Does this same battle drill apply in vehicles?
Yes.
Yes. Change the distances. Come up with some of the nuances of using, instead of hand and arm signals, but of course using FM. The same thing applies. So don't think that just because you're operating as strikers, that these basics don't apply. All right. We have our overwatch element. Our bounding element moves out. They then become the overwatch element. And the initial overwatch element then bounds across. They continue to bound across. We're going to say alternating, just leapfrogging across until we hit the far side. Once we get to the far side, we collapse ourselves back to our original formations order of movement, and we continue on azimuth. All right, does anybody have any questions up to this point? What's up, Brady?
After doing successive bounds or alternating bounds, and you get to the other side, do you have a security halt before you go into?
That's not necessary. If you can be quick about it, simply collect up your guys and move out. If it is necessary, you can always call a security halt if you need it, to get accountability or men or something like that. But there really shouldn't have been any kind of hassle with that. Right? The idea is that you're able, one, everyone understands they're part of all this, and two, that you rehearsed it so often that this isn't taking all day. This is just something that you do quickly, because this is a battle drill. So, one thing, if there's a road through the middle of this, okay, there's no reason to execute an LDA crossing procedure while you're just in an open danger area. Just blow through it, continue to bound across. It just makes common sense. That's something that we see very often at Ranger School. It's because guys are nervous, like, oh, I don't want to bound across a road and not execute LDAs. Right? Use what makes common sense. If you see a road in the middle of it, bound across it just like normal. Does that make sense? Now, let's talk about actions on contact. What you need to understand is, again, the enemy has a hard-on for attacking us in open danger areas, just like we do with them. So if you become engaged from any direction, you have two options. These two options are the exact same all the time. One is to attack, and one is to break contact. You've been given a block of instruction on conducting a squad attack. You've been given a block of instruction on how to break contact. You're going to apply those same assessments that you were taught by Sergeant Jimenez, right?
Yes.
Okay, by Sergeant Jimenez, and you're going to execute one of those battle drills as best, and make it work. Now, in the case of Forrest Gump and Lieutenant Dan, did Lieutenant Dan have control of his men?
No.
He had lost control. So, if you're losing control of your men, you have lost control of the situation, then you have to execute rally point procedures. Rally points are positions on the far side, the far side and the near side, at 300 meters back on a back azimuth, if you have them planned. Or they might be en route rally points, like that river in Forrest Gump's case. Okay? If you lose control of your squad, you call out the rally point, everyone else echoes the rally point, you break into buddy teams as best you can, you E&E, which is a military jargon term for unass, you unass the AO, move to your rally point, and you conduct rally point procedures. Okay? Everyone go and take down your rally point procedures because these are going to be important. Rally point procedures should sound very similar to your consolidate and reorganize. Right? Reorganize your security. Reorganize your chain of command. Get yourself squared away with an ACE report. Understand what you're working with. Do we have wounded? Have we lost equipment? Do we have ammo? And you're going to establish comms with those other elements. Try to link yourself back together. The idea of rally points is that it's something hasty that you do to get as preparation to get yourself together. Right? You don't do rally point procedures like as a plan. It's something you do when your plan fails. All right, those are your actions on contact. So I told you what to do if you're feeling saucy and you want to attack, go into your squad attack. If you're not feeling good, you need to break contact, that's fine too. Right? Or you may have to you may have to execute rally point procedures. All right, what questions do we have on moving through a large open danger area? So, based on what we know now about the difference between a large open danger area and a small open danger area, were our rangers who answered based on size, were they right? Is it 200 meters? Is it 35 meters?
No, sorry.
No, they weren't right, but they also weren't wrong. The answer is, if you don't have time to deal with it, then you execute as a large open danger. If you do have time, you move around, utilize cover and concealment, preferably using the contour bypass method, and you go around. Too simple, right? All right. Let's go ahead and move on to our last one. What's up, Ranger?
How did you say that the headquarters is moving through with this?
Your headquarters is going to move with the initial overwatch element, right? So it should, let's say the Alpha team is going to be the first to bound across, right? Then your headquarters element, your RTO, your machine gun, your squad leader would hang out there with Bravo team. They would get down in the prone, preferably, although if they can't see anything, then they might be in the, on knee. They're overwatch. Meanwhile, your alpha team is moving out. Alpha team is set. Bravo team in the headquarters, move out. Catch up, boom. Alpha team again, Bravo team again. So your squad leader is going to determine which team he's going to move out with. He's going to stay with it the entire time. You want to have that 240 with you on that initial overwatch element. Good question, Ranger. Did I answer it?
Yes.
All right. What other questions do we have on large open danger areas? All right. Everyone stand up.
If you are able to use micro-terrain, water, or dead space, or whatever you have available to you to pass through,
Yep.
and you essentially have to, for lack of a better term, file your element through, because it might be a canal or winding way like you were talking about. Would you then move your initial element up to their bounding point stop, and then let everybody catch up to you, and then do the bump method, or?
You
how would
could.
address
You
that?
could. It's going to be based off your terrain.
Okay.
Everyone go ahead and sit back down and stretch it out a little bit. The question was, can we bound them to the same position? You could if that was the only available cover and concealment, but ideally, you'd move them to alternating positions because they'll best be able to cover each other. Right? Also, just if the enemy has seen one team move up there, they're just waiting for you at the next one. It's going to be based off terrain. I really try to avoid saying MET-TC dependent, but that fits squarely in MET-TC dependent. As you move across the large open danger area, what movement formation will you use? Movement formation. Let me get that corporal I was running with this morning. What movement formation will we moving?
Squad wedge.
Okay, fire team wedge. Roger that. Good. What's up, Brandon?
If time was very sensitive, could you ever treat a large open danger area like a linear danger area?
Let me go through LDA actions. I think that's going to answer your question. Okay? And then if it doesn't, catch me offline. Okay? If it's a large open danger area, you're simply going to bound across. That's the short answer to your question. All right, if we're done with that, then we're going to go ahead and move on to LDA. Next. You get back there on that screen, guys. All right, thank you. All right, so linear danger area. What I want you to, all right, here's the definition, the technical definition. A linear danger can be defined as a danger area that has a long axis where the enemy can concentrate their fires on your unit as you cross it. Oh no, it's the attack of the 40-year-old virgin again. Okay? An LDA is nothing more than a fatal funnel. Just think of it that way. All right, let me go ahead and familiarize you to our board. Again, we have our near side rally point. We have our far side rally point. In the middle, we have our linear danger area. In this case, it is a road. We'll go ahead and call it No Name Road because it doesn't have a road on it, or it doesn't have a road name. Right. As a planning consideration, when you make your plan to cross an LDA, you must give a grid location, a terrain feature for all three elements: the near side rally point, the actual crossing point, and the far side rally point. You're also going to include a direction and distance from the crossing point at these for your rally points. Does everyone understand that? That's if you have a planned LDA crossing. Again, we have the Alpha team color coordinated in blue, Bravo team, the Bravo team in green, and the headquarters in yellow in the middle. On the right, we have administrative notes that'll help you follow this period of instruction. You should find material on page 6-7 of your Ranger handbooks. All right, the single most important thing in your LDA crossings is your proper map reconnaissance. Okay? At all times, you're going to attempt to avoid LDAs. Okay? Because where do ambushes happen? On LDAs. Okay? We're not the only guys who love to ambush people on trails. Okay? Now, at some point, can you avoid roads your entire life?
No.
No. In those cases, you're going to have to plan your LDAs. When you plan your LDAs, it's important, it's essential to do a thorough map reconnaissance so that way you can cross it at an appropriate area. Okay? Good locations to cross an LDA: low grounds, away from intersections, away from population centers. Okay? Bends in a road. Assuming those were bends, that's good. All right. Basically, any place that would be prominent. All right. You want to cross in a swamp, on a bend in a road, away from a population center. Someplace that has no reason for the enemy to be there. A bad place to cross an LDA. A hilltop on an intersection with like a building right next to it. Right? You don't want to cross on a long axis of a road, like a long stretch, because you can see a long stretch. Does everyone understand the difference? All right, so everyone can visualize what that would look like on a map. You have some like green and some blue, and you have a bend in the road, and then like over here you have fucking Seattle. And like over here you have Tacoma, or whatever you guys have around here. Okay, so those are your route planning considerations. That's what you have to do. Now, for some of you that are far thinking, what does the American Army enjoy an overwhelming advantage of when we conduct operations, typically? Have you ever been strafed by like a MiG? No, neither have I, all right? Because our Army never moves out without superiority of air. It's part of our doctrine. So, another part of your considerations, is there any reason why you can't plan a pre-planned target, either for artillery or CAS, on your crossing location? Or to cover your crossing location? Absolutely not. So that's definitely one of your pre-planned considerations. You should all write that down, especially you officers. Now, there's several different types of LDAs, right? The first one is easy enough. Is it active or inactive? Okay? If you hear people going down the road, obviously it's active. If you see footprints, obviously it's active. If you see trash, if you smell petroleum, all that kind of stuff, obviously it leads you to believe that it's an active LDA. If it's covered in leaves and there's no apparent movement, it might be inactive. If it's inactive, you may choose to blow across it. That's going to be your decision as a squad leader. But there's never any harm with treating every LDA like it's an active LDA. Now, you also have man-made LDAs versus natural LDAs. Man-made LDAs, you have roads, foot trails, railroad tracks. Whoever answered that, very smart. Clear-cut areas. I noticed that you guys, you cut down large sections to allow for your telephone poles, all that kind of stuff. So that's a perfect example. Natural, you have streams, erosion ditches, large game trails. And ultimately, if man made it, man is going to use it. Right? And if it makes man's movement easier, man's going to use it. How many of you guys like to hike? Yeah? Would you rather hike down a nice little trail, or would you rather hike through a shitty fucking swamp with like burrs and stickers and stuff like that? Well, some of you guys are masochists, so I get it. But usually what we do is we move along easier areas. So, last thing that we need to understand is, again, whether the LDA is known or unknown. If it's known, then you should have planned rally points. You should have a planned crossing site. And maybe you should incorporate some type of coverage with artillery or close air support. If it's unknown, then you obviously can't plan for all that kind of stuff. In which case you're going to have your floating rally points. Floating rally points are 300 meters on a back azimuth for the near side, and 300 meters on the mission azimuth on the far side. Okay? These rally points, what you're looking for are the characteristics of a rally point. Okay? This is very simple. Characteristics of a rally point are the same characteristics of a good woman. Easy, away, and provides for. Right? That's easily definable for a short period of time, away from natural lines of drift, away from avenues of approach, provides no tangible advantage for the enemy, and provides cover and concealment from both ground and air. So easy, away, provides for. Everybody got it? So would we want to put ourselves right there on an intersection for our near side rally point? Why wouldn't we want to use an intersection? Because it's an avenue of approach, right? All right, some of you guys aren't picturing this. If this was Star Wars, okay, we were in Star Wars land or whatever, the galaxy far, far away, what Star Wars planet would be a rally point? Fucking Hoth, fucking Dagobah, all right? All those places that those guys went to hide away, those are all your places that would be rally points. Places that people don't want to be. That's why Yoda was hanging out there at fucking Dagobah for like 7 years. Does that make sense? All right, so there we are at the rally points. Have we beaten this to death? Are we ready to learn how to cross? All right. So the Alpha team leader comes up. He identifies linear danger area. He gives what hand and arm signal, guys? Right. First, halt us. All right. Then he gives what?
Danger area.
Okay, got it. Squad leader moves up to the Alpha team leader. This should be sounding familiar because we've already covered this twice. Squad leader moves up to the Alpha team leader. Hey, what do we have? Hey, we have a linear danger area. Okay, let's go ahead and move forward. And let's recon this thing. Squad leader's going to come forward. He's going to recon. He's going over all those things. Is this an LDA? Is it man-made or natural? Man-made or natural? Is it active or inactive? Okay, he's making all those determinations. Is this an LDA that I meant to cross? That like was on the as part of our plan? Or did we just get off course and now we're on a different LDA? Okay, all those kinds of considerations. Also, what he's going to look for, he's going to look for a crossing point. Right? Again, a crossing point has cover and concealment on both near and far side. Okay, and it's like away from intersections, all that kind of good stuff. Right? He's also going to look for cover and conceal positions for a security element. Right? These positions are very close to the crossing site, close enough to where these security elements can actually observe the crossing during good visibility. So, they come up, they do the reconnaissance. The squad leader is going to move back with the Alpha team leader back to the squad security halt. That's on the near side, right? Bravo team leader is going to move forward. Squad leader is going to put out the poop to the Alpha team leader and Bravo team leader. He's going to say, "Hey, we've come up to an LDA. Now we're going to cross it." Okay? He's going to tell that Bravo team leader. Squad leader is going to tell the Bravo team leader to gather his men and bring them up, bring them forward. He's then going to tell the Alpha team leader, he's going to give him task condition standards of how the Alpha team leader is going to move, the Alpha team leader is going to move to the far side. What he's going to say is, after Bravo team has established security, you are going to move Alpha team across in a fire team wedge at a double time. Okay, double time across the road at a fire team wedge. The reason that you use a wedge rather than a file is if you take contact from the 12 o'clock, then everyone can present their weapons. Okay? If everyone took contact from this side, go ahead and pull security. Everyone go ahead and draw your weapons. If you were, yeah. Only like the guys in the end can actually draw the weapons. But if you were moving across in a wedge like you sort of are now, and I was the enemy and everyone saw me, what would you all do? Go ahead and point your weapons at me. Now I have like 89 weapons on me. That's why we move across in a fire team wedge rather than a file. He's going to tell that Alpha team leader, hey, move it far enough out to clear that far area. Typically this is no less than 50 meters by 50 meters. Alpha team leader, once you've cleared across, once you've determined that there's no enemy in the area, right, you're going to give me the signal to bring the rest of the squad across. You can use whatever kind of contact that you need. FM radios if you have them. Okay? You could give me a hand and arm signal. You can give me a flash using your nods. Okay? It's whatever you have available to you. Okay? If it is not clear on the opposite side, I want you to go ahead and move back across to the near side rally point. Excuse me, to the near side of the security hall. Simple enough, right? So he's giving those task initiative centers to the Alpha Team Leader. Squad leader is giving those task initiative centers to the Alpha Team Leader. Bravo Team Leader is going to arrive with his boys. Right? And the squad leader is going to have the Bravo Team Leader in place security. Now he has a few methods that he can use for this. Right? The squad leader can in place security on the left side and the right side. Or the squad leader could take 2 men, and the Bravo Team Leader could position himself over here. Okay? Or the Bravo Team Leader could position both men himself. Or if the squad leader is particularly trusting, the squad leader can simply say, hey, put your men over here, put your men over here. And those guys simply walk themselves. Right? That's going to be based off of how much you trust your guys. How many of these squads have like that one dipshit private? Yeah? Only one squad? All right, the rest of us are doing fine. All the other squads, nobody wants to man up to it. So, when we place our men, in this case we're going to say the squad leader is going to replace one side and the Bravo Team Leader is going to replace the other. Because the enemy contact is templated to come from the left-hand side, the Bravo Team Leader is going to position himself in the team's most deadly weapon, which is what? The team. Assault 249. Assault. The team guy. All right. So the Bravo Team Leader is going to position himself in the 249. The Bravo Team Rifleman and the Bravo Team 203 are going to be placed on the weak side. Those two most dangerous weapons, the 249 and the 203, will be facing out. So that way they can be the first to engage the enemy. The two other guys, the Bravo Team Leader and the Bravo Team Rifleman, will be facing in to observe the crossing. They're going to be on a knee. Their feet are going to be touching so that way they can utilize the tap code. Tap code is nothing more than what you do all the time. You give one tap, hey, you good? Yeah, I'm good. You get a little nervous, like, hey, what was that sound? You give 2 taps. If you give 3 taps, it's like, hey, we gotta go. We gotta do something. This is bad. All right, it's a nonverbal means of communication. So with our Bravo Team Leader in 249 over here, our Bravo Rifleman and our Bravo Team 203 on the weak side, they're in position. Squad leader gives a hand and arm signals to the Alpha Team Leader. Go ahead and move across. Alpha Team Leader acts in accordance with his task initiation standards, moves his men across in a fire team wedge, double timing, and clears an area 50 meters by 50 meters. Alpha Team Leader gives the appropriate signals to the squad leader to let him know, hey, we're clear across. Squad leader then leads the headquarters element across the gun, the RTO, again, in a fire team wedge. They move across. Now this is where it gets just the tiniest little bit tricky. The Bravo team is still here on the near side rally point. Okay? The men who are facing out, the 249 and the 203, who are already facing out, they will continue to face out, and then the men who are observing the crossing, the Bravo Team Leader and the Bravo Team Rifleman, they are going to, the inside men, they're going to move across the LDA. They're just going to move straight across. They're not going to worry about collapsing back to the center or anything like that. Just move straight across. Once they get to that far side, they're going to pull security down the road. And then those most dangerous weapons, the 249 and the 203, then they cross. Once everyone's crossed, Bravo team moves forward, catches up with the rest of the squad, which is at a security halt, and we continue on our merry way. That's the most difficult part of it. Does everyone see that? So, who continues to pull security down? The dangerous weapon, 249 and 203. Good. Who's the first guys to move across? The Bravo Team Leader and the Bravo Team Rifleman. Okay? What questions do we have on on crossing an LDA. What's up, Lee?
Would you ever initiate like a choke point with squad leader and alpha team, or Bravo team leader and squad leader?
One of the questions was, could you initiate a choke point to count your guys across? You can always do things to increase control. Maybe your guys are tired. Maybe it's dark. All that, you can always incorporate that kind of stuff. That's the nice thing about you guys being a unit. You can take, I mean, it's your unit. You can develop your SOPs, your squad. We give you the doctrinal basis of all this, and what your command is hoping is that you take these basics and you add your own SOPs. And that you guys are just, hard charging, you're able to do all this kind of stuff with your own SOPs. We're just giving you the base layer. I hope that you add things like that. Hey, during periods of limited visibility, we're going to collapse down and we're going to use a choke point. Okay, I understand that. It makes good sense. So I hope that you do incorporate those kinds of SOPs. I don't teach that kind of stuff because I've been instructed to give you just the basics, the doctrinal basis. Good range question, I did answer. All right. What other questions we have on crossing an LDA? What's up?
It's a huge open field, and it's been like that for ever since the desert, right? And there's just a road right in the middle of it, and you can see far right, far left, as far as I can see.
Okay.
You can't see anything. Would there be a point to actually stay this way?
We covered that during our large open danger area. If there's an LDA, a linear danger area, in the middle of our large open danger area, right, you're simply going to bound across. Don't worry that there's an LDA in the middle of your open danger area. Simply bound across. To answer your question, Randy? And you're saying that it's inactive or active or inactive, and that's a question that you have to answer yourself. But what I would do, large, huge open area, desert, LDA running through the middle, I'd execute my large open danger area battle drill. All right, what other questions we have, guys? None? Okay, Roger that. We'll hang out. We'll get you next for the guys.